It is Tuesday. Time now for TV Tuesday with Douglas Pucci of ProgrammingInsider.com. He joins us from New York. And Douglas, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Scott. Good morning.
Well, today marks the start of one of my favorite segments of the year, our best and worst of 2022. And this is TV shows. And we're going to start off today, this week, with the worst of 2022. So let's get right into it. Douglas, I'm going to start with you. And let's go with your top five. Who's number five?
Yeah, well, before number five, I just want to iterate that as the years pass on and we see this growing amount of series television on our screens and on streaming, it's getting harder and harder to compile these lists because we do not dwell on bad TV like we used to. But yet, I still was able to gather five in particular. So we start with the number five entry. Scott, you and I still lament the cancellation of our number one best show of last year, The Hustler.
Mm-hmm.
But in the 12 months since, several other saboteur-style reality competitions have arisen. ABC's Claim to Fame was decent. Netflix's reboot of The Mole was very good. But one show was not effective. That's the number five show called Snake in the Grass. This was on USA Network. Not even the participation of alums from Survivor and Big Brother were enough to salvage this one. The problem was that the assigned saboteur didn't really have to sabotage much in the game, and that person could still win $100,000. So.
I like that. All right. I like that pick. Yes. Number four.
Scott, when you and I were growing up, Blockbuster Video was one of the most successful businesses in America. But in the past 2 decades, the rise of cable, on-demand, and Netflix bankrupted the company. So perhaps my number four entry was Blockbuster's revenge upon Netflix, lending their name as the title of an awful, awful comedy. It's a pale imitation of Superstore. Yeah, number four, my worst scripted option of 2022, Blockbuster.
You might hear about this a little bit later on in this segment. I'll just give you that little foreshadowing. Number three for you, Douglas.
This number three entry actually has nothing to do with the sport of baseball. Baseball is my favorite. And nor has it indication of its picture quality. It was superb. But it's primarily due to the commentators involved and its production. Number three is Apple TV's Friday Night Baseball. This is Apple TV's first foray broadcasting a major American sport. But tell any baseball fan that their team is about to play on Apple TV, and he'll expect a sense of dread coming from them, even though it was free to access this past year. So, Apple, please, be better for 2023. But right now, Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, my number three worst of 2022.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about that. And let's go to number two for you.
Almost 25 years ago, MTV developed the Challenge franchise from The Real World and Road Reels to compete. But this year, they tried to create something similar with the folks from Jersey Shore and the various global shore shows. But it took me all of just 20 minutes to consider All-Star Shore on Paramount Plus pure garbage. All-Star Shore on Paramount Plus, my number two worst show of 2022. And by the way, Paramount Plus, don't worry. You'll be mentioned among the best shows of 2022 next week, so take no fear.
All right, Douglas, number one for you.
Aaron Spelling, one of the legendary producers in TV history. We've since seen those programs rebooted with little to no success. And my number one entry is no exception. CBS revived the once beloved Love Boat as a new romance reality competition called The Real Love Boat. But most viewers refused to set sail. And to make matters worse, its premise actually copied most elements from a recent worst TV entry called Love Island. Anyways, the number one worst show of 2022, The Real Love Boat, on CBS and got shifted to Paramount Plus because no one watched it on CBS. And there you go. That's my worst five of 2022. Scott, without further ado, what is your worst of 2022?
Okay, well, you mentioned this earlier, and number five for me, Snake in the Grass. I had high hopes, and it just didn't pan out for me. Number four, I went with Made for Love Season 2. I was highly disappointed in Season 2 after I loved Season 1.
Agreed. This is a very interesting pick of yours.
Number three, I'm in agreement with you on this one. Real Love Boat. I like to give everybody a shot, and we tried to watch the first half hour. It was just so cringy, and I was like, nope, I'm done with that. Number two, I go to CBS. How We Roll. I found that very, very cheesy. And I mentioned that a little foreshadowing was to come. Well, my number one is on Netflix, Blockbuster.
A lot of similarities with our list, but a lot of good picks for you as well, Scott.
All right. Well, next week we're going to go more positive, and we'll do our best of for 2022. Douglas, great list today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Scott. Appreciate it.
That's Douglas Pucci of ProgrammingInsider.com joining us for TV Tuesday.